Well, welcome everybody to our second trip to Michigan International Speedway in the NASCAR Chat Series. Last year gave us a little bit of a thriller. Late restart with Will Power with his banged up race car after essentially spinning around and T-boning somebody. Drove to the front of the field and drove past everybody to win it. No Will Power in the field this year. Brayton, Laster, and Austin are on the front row for this thing. So, seeing some people up here that we don't often see. Think about the 14 car, had a terrible year in the points as well. So, long way to go, 200 laps, 400 miles, but surprise winner on our hands, potentially, as we go green from Michigan. Brayton Laster, your pole sitter, leads lap 1 and has pulled out already to a half a second lead. And you're seeing more so back in second on back, and it is chaos here off of the start. A lot of just fighting for position and all of that. Just how wide it is here and just how much room there is to race. Now that being said, it doesn't appear like that many people are using really all that room. They're all fighting kind of for the same spot. Just really, really tightly packed together here outside of the first car. I mean, it's not like Austin's sitting here breaking away. He's actually going to have to fight off his God Squad brethren and El Jefe, and they almost got together for second place here as Miss Aries looking to join this party. Now, if we can get through this first stint of the race and, you know, stay green here a little while, maybe, just maybe, we won't have all that many problems. But with everybody in close and, well, all intents and purposes, it looks like everybody's forgotten how to drive. We will, I think, eventually be okay. Brayton Laster's really enjoying all of this in his rearview mirror because there's just no separation from second all the way back probably to the back of the pack. That is how crazy this start has been. Imagine you being in the stands. Well, you see, the stands that I sat at least the first time I was ever here, well, they don't exist anymore. We actually just passed where they were over there in turn 4. I didn't sit in the main grandstand once, turn 1. I have been. It's the only track I've been to. So for as chaotic of a start as it was, at least thus far. Oh, yeah. I mean, I might as well be out there. But no, at least to start out here, we are incident-free. Nobody's wrecked. As far as I know, nobody's hit anything. Laster out to a 2-second lead to start this thing as he's going to come across, take lap 6. 200 total here today, 45 laps in stage number 1. Stage 2 will end at lap 120, gives us 80 laps to the finish. You know, for you, maybe you're just kind of, you know, chilling a little bit. Long way to go. I don't know why you are so miserably slow. You just got freight trained by L.W. Wright. So that's an interesting development. Oh my God! Look at how stupid it is in front of Ash. I'd sit back there too. Oh my God! Sim really didn't like the nose cam there, as now Ash and Evo will probably just sit back and hope that eventually this shit sorts itself out. I think the Sim got everything confused. It had to reset the ticker and everything. Very strange. But I guess it's not really used to seeing this much stupidity happening in front of everybody. Ash and Evo are going to get around Dale Earnhardt Jr. As in a field with a few Michiganders in it, we are looking at one currently in second place and looking to make a run on Brayton Lester. Channel Original TJ. Actually got a couple Michigan natives inside the top 10. Caleb's up to 6th. And we'll highlight Caleb too. It's not an entirely new scheme. We did see the Black Michigan State scheme on the 35 a year ago. But it is a little bit new. Metallic green doesn't really shine as well as I had hoped, but oh well. It'd be a great night race scheme. I just thought he needed something special for his home race. 35 looking for its first NASCAR Chat Series win, as are so many. But not everybody has been here since the beginning, and yet we only have 10, at least active, race winners in 16 races, which I guess isn't a bad ratio. What, we have 3 multi-time winners, Pastrana, Deegan, and Jordo, the only ones. Here's Pat making a run on the 35. And I mean, hey, remember when Haley Deegan was supposed to surrender her qualifying position, and I was even reminded of that? Well, that's okay. She'll, we'll just, first yellow flag, we'll just send her to the back. LW Wright has gone to the pit lane. That would be insanely early. Now, there are faster pairs. Actually, there's only one. I guess not. No. Well, you see, I actually did remember to do that. And then we had the schemes not loading in and qualifying, and it was poof, gone. So I remembered and then forgot again. Anyway, where is Haley Deegan? Currently sitting 17th. New scheme on that one as well. Barely. Just a little refresh of the numbers as she's going to battle with Tony Kanaan, as she did for a lot of the Coke 600. Just a little bit more similar looking now to the 67 of Travis Pastrana. The lead for Brayton Lester is dropping. Austin has dropped the 06's lead to 1.3 seconds. And this is kind of what I thought that we might see, you know, once we start to thin out a little bit. You know, I expected to see the faster cars work their way up there. Saw massive shuffling of position, 16th through 18th. Sure if somebody got loose in the corner or what the hell happened there, but 19 certainly making a run on Brayton Lester, who's probably already led more laps in this race than he has in the entire season. There are plenty that only have a handful of laps led, and they really came on super speedways. It really wasn't until the Coke 600 that we saw guys lead, you know, triple-digit lap numbers in a single race. Well, and also think about, you know, where we've been. You start the season in Daytona, then we had Atlanta. That's another drafting track. Then we went to the Nürburgring. There were only 24-ish laps to lead in the first place. Then Talladega, and then Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte really was the first opportunity anybody had to try and do that. Ash has passed Smee for 29th. I'm assuming that means Evo is back 30th or worse right now, as Laster is kind of stabilizing that lead. Evo, last car on the lead lap. But with the right pit strategy, maybe just flip the field, get up to the front. Well, let's see if we can do this again without a little bit of frame lag. Who's a good onboard candidate? Who should we go to? Who do we not? You know what? This would be a good result for him if this race were to end right now. We really haven't talked very much about Oraman all year, simply because he's not been a factor. But he's in 12th right now. We'll go on board here in Michigan. Got Jeff in the pit lane. I wonder... I mean, I see some scrapes. I don't know if that's really all that concerning. I don't think I would have pitted for that. But the 55 has done just that. Very curious decision. The 06 of Brayton Laster led every lap. FireKeepers Casino 400, just the sole date here at Michigan International Speedway anymore. Michigan, like plenty of other tracks, when NASCAR was kind of trying to revamp its schedule, went down to just the one date. Unless you were really like a crown jewel destination track, it's just kind of the way it went. No, you definitely should not need to fuel up in under 20 laps. It's more flat out than Charlotte, but if we go on board with Laster, I'm sure we're going to hear a good chunk of off-throttle time, actually. Well, and look back there. The 19 is closing in for the first time in a minute. The lead for Laster is under a second. So the 19 is coming. TJ just about a second back, sitting in third. No, I would assume for the 55 that's just perhaps a really poor decision to pit with very minimal damage. Now, I don't even know if he fucking fixed it. You would certainly hope so. We have 2 cars a lap down with some very questionable pit strategies. Now, I didn't see if there was anything that happened to LW Wright. Didn't see if there was any damage, because by the time we got the camera on that car, it looked fine. Only for you. Only for you in the All-Star race. Already closing in, believe it or not, on halfway through this opening stage after the 100 lap, whatever it was, 4.5 hours of racing that we did at Charlotte. A 45 lap stage feels like a truck race, if we're honest with ourselves here. 19 certainly putting on a charge here, as I would presume we're getting somewhat late into the run. I would estimate somewhere around 40 to 45 laps would be the fuel window. That's just that's a flat out guess, but that's what I would think. Really, the top 4 could get really interesting at the front of the field here shortly. It feels like they're all kind of reeling each other in. Well, at least they were. Good 3 and 4 for Brayton Laster. Oh, is Ash making up ground? Where do we got? 26th! Yeah! Are you almost a lap down? Are you that bad? About 15 seconds off the pace. 38-second laps. It's okay. I'm sure your crew chief is just one of the biggest geniuses we've got here in the NASCAR Chat Series. Problems there, both will continue on, but between Squid and Smee. Last car in the lead lap. Yep, no good. So anyway, the gap up at the front of the field yet again is kind of plateaued. Just a little bit. About 5/6 of a second. Feels like all the 19 needs to do is just reel that 06 in a little bit more, start to get a bit of a toe, and then maybe he'll have something to say about Brayton Laster leading every lap of this race so far. Yeah, the crazy thing about that Coke 600 win of yours is that it didn't even require any sort of bizarre pit strategy. It just required us, well, penalizing Tony Kanaa. I don't remember. Glad nobody has redeemed a debris caution yet, because I want to double check how many I gave you. Where are we at? 4? 4 per race? I'm content with 4. That's good with me. So now feel free to use them if you so choose, but not really sure there's much of a reason outside of punting Deegan to the back, but I really don't think we want to stack the field back up right now. And hey, Evo, your prediction, at least to start this race, not looking so very good for my final finishing position. I've cracked the top 10, believe it or not. Getting around, or maybe El Jefe's trying to get around me. In theory, fresher tires on that 55 after that early, presumably unscheduled pit stop. Back in the hot and now colors for this race. Probably the last time I'll use this scheme this year. But Michigan burger joint that I've never even been to, but I'm obsessed with it for some odd reason. And cool little buildings, okay? Leave me alone. Heading back around the lap down, El Jefe. Things not really any closer than where we left off at the front of the field. Half a second back is Austin, still kind of just looking to get on the charge here to try and catch the 06. I don't know if Laster just, drove it fucking crazy at the start and, is just kind of laying back right now or what the case may be. But, I'll tell you what, he's really good in 3 and 4. Austin, it feels like every time through 1 and 2, we see him get that to about 5-6 tenths of a second back, and then 3 and 4, Laster just stretches it right back out again. Like, nobody's really making any ground. Who the fuck is Stony Case? I've never heard that before, ever. So, congrats. That might be the most random starting quarterback for the Lions. 4 tenths back. If Austin can have a good corner, this might be the lap that he can get a run and just know Laster's just going to run away from him again. Well, we are very sadly looking at some possible Tony Kanaan stage points. Tony Kanaan, not exactly the most popular driver in the NASCAR Chat Series Coca-Cola 600. What a run for Pat. And speaking of Pat, he's not too far up the road from Tony Kanaan. But anyway, for Kanaan, mainly for the 3 car, just what a story it was. Fell a lap down due to some bad pit strategy. Found some insane speed in that car, only for the 11. Well, so more to that story, of course. Unlapped himself the hard way, and then within the space of a run or two, had gotten all the way back to the point that he passed Kanaan for the lead. Nobody else could do it, but the 3 car that was, again, a lap down, unlapped himself, then drove all the way up, caught back up the whole lap, all for Tony Kanaan to end it with a little punt in the middle of turn 3 and 4. And that pretty much ended the 3's day, unfortunately. Now, he was still out there, but nowhere near the race that car deserved. So good to see it up front again. See if maybe this time it can put something solidly together throughout the course of a race. Now, the 35 and the 45 are teammates, but I've never really had a name for this team. It's a good run so far for them. The 45 up in 3rd, Caleb sitting in 8th, just got passed by Pat for that spot. 35 will come back. 35 has hit something, but I would assume that was just a little bump. Kind of scraped up that right front of that car. So we have just 9 laps to go in the opening stage of the FireKeepers Casino 400. Braden Laster has led all 37 of them. Well, about to be all 37 of them. He'll come out of 4 and Just that same sort of deal, dude. And like, gets it down to 0.5 of a second, and then stretches it right back out to 7. Give me the all-star rules. Could also get interesting for second place here in a second. TJ and Miss Airy are closing in on the 19. So now I've got 2 cars within a second of Brayton Lester, and watch out for the 45 space to the inside. And actually should be able to make a pass for second place, which is going to let the 06 get a little bit further out in front. Still a long way to go in this race. Maybe the 45 will have some better luck if he's going to have some late speed here. And now we'll see also if I'm right when it comes to the length of the fuel run. Because if it is, pit stops could throw a real wrench into these stage results. That would be really funny if I was right. And you got... What if Laster comes down on lap 45 because the AI isn't exactly aware of the stages? That would kind of be hilarious. So now the 45 will set his sights on Brayton Laster. I think both of these cars are looking for their first career stage wins. I meant to open up the standings so I can tell, and I actually accidentally. Those Twitch channels. Hold, please. Okay, so chat's back up. You know, I don't know why I put my laptop in fucking tech mode, because the fucking keyboard keeps getting in my way. Alright, so for Brayton Lester actually has a stage win. That came at Talladega. How quickly we forget. And then TJ, I'm almost positive, does not have one. In fact, only has 2 finishes inside the top 10. Signs are not pointing towards that. Which means it's going to get really interesting probably just after this stage ends. It's really tough to imagine it being much longer than that. Because remember, we're at like anywhere from like 35 to 40 laps at Daytona, which is 2.5 miles. Michigan, a 2-mile racetrack. It was just a rough estimate. They might be able to make 10 more laps. Yep, no stage breaks unless somebody wants to call one. Which, speaking of, I mean, we're still sitting here with Haley Deegan not penalized. And while we were away, pit stops are occurring, and it's Brayton Lester from the lead. Oh, he was out front for so long, so that hands over the lead to TJ. And what's he gonna do? What a move from Brayton Lester, too, because that was right before the pits would have closed for the stage. So far, it is only Brayton Lester that has made that move. White flag in stage number 1, and it is TJ. Lester couldn't make it another couple laps? Because if he could, that feels really, really strange. But we do have a race for the stage win as well. Miss Airy looking to the inside down the back. And she'll dive it in. Kind of reminds me of the finish of the race last year. Oh, Airy's going to drop to the pit lane. So your stage 1 winner for his first NASCAR Chat Series stage win is TJ, as this pit cycle is about to get real awkward. Stage results are final. TJ, the stage winner. Aiden picks up a second place finish in stage 1 for his first stage points of the year. I myself, 3rd. Tony Kanaan, 4th. Sterling Marlin in 5th. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 6th. Pastrana, 7th. Second place in this race a year ago. Miss Airy in 8th after pitting. Haley Deegan and TBNR Cars racking up some stage points as TJ has made the move to the pits. Well, after a billion races of deserving a penalty and us forgetting to do it, Haley Deegan has now been bumped all the way to the back of the pack. So a lot of work to do in this race for your points leader. We've already seen how tough it can be to get out of that mess back there. So we're coming off our first debris yellow flag. Didn't work as intended by those who wanted to call it, but it didn't work too bad. Ash and Evo mid-pack right now, not so bad. Brayton Laster deserved the stage 1 win. Some bad pit strategy caused him not to win it, but he's back up front now after the debris yellow with Miss Airy on the outside as we are back to green from Michigan. Looked like your stage 1 winner in TJ might have been up there scraping the wall just a little bit. Let's see if that might have been the case. Yes, but lucky for him, very much so, just a scrape. So 45 should be able to continue on. Brayton Laster doing exactly what he did at the start of this race, which is pulling out to a pretty decent lead. But Miss Airy has also seemingly broken away a little bit from everybody else. So maybe Laster doesn't get out to that massive lead that he had before. How about Uncle Ken Schrader sitting up there in 3rd? Haven't talked about the 25 very much all year long. But, hey, in the last race, he did punt Tony Kanaan. So looking out for his Chevy brethren in Pat. Speaking of, Kanaan is still top 10. Schrader cleared for the moment into second place. Second off of Brayton Lasters. It's exactly what that 06 wanted to see. Was second and third getting side by side, starting to battle here a little bit. All that's going to do is allow the 06 to break away yet again. But a longer stage 2 than we had stage 1. Every stage gets longer here in Michigan. So, won't have what we had at the end of that first stage with the pit stops. Shouldn't be a factor quite like that. Middle of the pack. Yes, let's check in on Ash and Evo. Ash hasn't really fallen back too far from where she restarted this stage. 17th place right now, so down a spot. Actually down 2 spots into 18th now. Evo, on the other hand, is back in the Hornet's nest again. I mean, we were flirting with 5 wide there for a second. And then in the case of Haley Deegan, well, she's still stuck back in all of this stuff. And I was saying, you know, it's going to be so tough for the 38 to get back up to the front without the right strategy call at some point in this race. Because there's just nowhere to go back here right now. A lot of line changing, a lot of cars that can't hold a line. So, I mean, this was what the penalty was really designed for. It was supposed to be at the start of the race, so she would have the whole thing to, you know, catch back up. But this is what this was designed to do. Remember that it was deserved all the way back from Talladega. A race that she won. But again, we reiterate, the Talladega incident was nowhere near as bad as we thought it was. Thought she caused a massive inconvenience for everybody, really flipped the whole race in her favor. Didn't wind up being like that, but still wanted to penalize the pit road conduct, so. Whoa, Joe Nemechek. That could have put a hurting on the points lead right there. Back up at the front of the field, let's take a look here. We might have one of our first true battles for the lead about to commence. Oh, and Miss Airy got a little loose there out of turn 2. Nobody has been able to get around the 06 of Brayton Laster under green flag conditions without pit stops. I mean, the only time anybody got around him was when the 06 came down the pit lane. A little bit earlier than everybody else, couple laps early. And he is, I mean, he's been out in front for so long. Miss Airy gonna look to the high side here. We'll see if this works. Hopefully gonna get a good run here out of turn 2. Better than last time, I would think. Now, does she have a run, whoops, to be able to get by the 06? She'll look to the inside. And we might, if it sticks, have our very first pass for the lead today. And she got a little loose there on the bottom. So Laster is going to be able to hold her off for now. Still holding on to that 18th spot. Can't imagine the Deegan's doing much of anything. And that failed attempt to get around the 06 has brought Ken Schrader into the mix. Currently sitting 28, 8 seconds off the lead. Here comes the 17 again with a dive in the corner. Pushed up the racetrack a little bit. Laster will have the run out of the corner, and for the moment, he'll hold her off. Good to see just a nice battle for the lead. I mean, we went damn near a third of this race and hadn't really seen it. A small lead change, but nobody's been able to lead a lap other than Brayton Laster inside of TJ for those few laps in between pit cycles. I'm sure somebody else led. Dale Earnhardt Jr. led at the time of caution, so he's got a couple laps led to his credit, too. This area is throwing everything at the 06 to try and get around, and so far, nothing is working. Go high this time, a little bit of a bobble. And I mean, Laster's car just appears to be on rails here. Like, you don't really see him get loose, do any of that sort of stuff, and that is really why I think that he's able to just hold on to this. Making fewer mistakes right now. Should be a good run for the 17 yet again. Probably one of the better runs we've seen out of this car. Gonna be just about equal with the 06 heading into turn 1. Laster with a hell of a corner stretches the lead out to 0.4 of a second. What do they got going on with this 06 car? By the power invested in him, by the strength of Buddy's Pizza, I guess. Yeah, well, so far passing anywhere on this car is a no-go. I'm happy to see that Miss Airy was actually able to get up here because for the longest time Austin wasn't. Airy gonna force Laster up high. Is this the time? She looks clear and is clear. But now can she actually lead the lap? That's what remains to be seen. Took until lap 66. But we finally have a real lead change as Miss Airy will take lap 67 here in Michigan. We would have thought there was 5 laps to go, looking at that battle for the lead while we took a little bit of a break since we didn't really get to after stage number 1. And then back here for second now after Brayton Laster and Miss Airy were fighting that whole time. Ken Schrader is going to look to get around and get back into second place. Much tighter all throughout the parts of stage 2 that we have run thus far. 45 laps to go in the second stage, so the equivalent of stage 1, which again just felt like it flew right on by. And then the problem at hand is that sitting fourth, right in behind that battle for second place, is Tony Kanaan, and he's just going to freight train right on by, well, at least up until the entry to turn 3. The 06 of Brayton Laster, and that 06 just looks like it's used up its stuff. Like, it struggling to get around, can't get out of corners. I don't know if he's just not happy with where he's running with that car, but he just dropped like a rock all the way down to 5th place. Best car in the early stages of the FireKeepers Casino 400. And the way it's driving right now, you wouldn't know it. So clear on into second place as well. Found that Pat speed from the Coca-Cola 600 is Tony Kanaan. Goodness gracious, where did he come from? Past Laster and Schrader, and I believe myself, all in like a lap to get up to within a half second of the 17. And let's also talk about, because this car just needs a good result, really hasn't had many to speak of, and well, you would assume by the sponsor and the username that this would be a home race for Red Wings as well. It's a car that really hasn't been up front very much. Pole sitter, I believe, at Charlotte, yeah? And then fell off, was never really a factor. So damage on the front of Pat's car, but nothing to be concerned about. 71, making a pass to get into 8th place on Pat. Do feel like we don't want to leave the front of the field here, though, because again, it's way tighter in this stage than it was previously. As Schrader and Kanaan, who had their battle at Charlotte, now race for position here in Michigan. At the line. Oh, was that a side draft from AI Tony Kanaan? Is that what that was? It looked like a really poor attempt at a side draft. I don't know. Well, I thought Schrader was just going to come right up, cover off the 11 car. Not going to be the case. You're on lap 80. Miss Airy continuing to lead. Haven't taken a look at best lap times really all that much. Kanaan with a 38.12. Did I see a 37 in there? Somewhere like mid-pack? We'll wait for that to cycle back around, but I think I saw a 37-second lap. Ah, TJ, that would make sense. That car had speed. Speaking of speed, here is Kanaan. But yep, a 37.99, just under 38. Your current fastest lap in the FireKeepers Casino 400. And now we've got the battle for the lead. Miss Airy going to try and hold off Tony Kanaan. The longer she's able to do that, that might open the door for Ken Schrader to join this fight. Kanaan going to look to the inside, though. I fear it might be a losing battle right now. That 11 car just seems to be bad fast here in stage 2. So for the second race in a row, Tony Kanaan has taken the top spot. And at Charlotte, when he took it, he held it for a really long time. until Pat got him. And then, well, as we talked about earlier, he got Pat. Brayton Lester sitting back in 5th still. Not really any changes here in the top 10. Haven't talked too much about Travis Pastrana, who's been riding around in the top 10 for much of at least his second stage. Your current all-time winner in the NASCAR Chat Series as a pit stop. Oh, and that is some damage on the one car of Squid. This is a car that is having a good points here. It looks to be just cosmetic, but yeah, he's going to come down, fix it. Presumably get new tires and take some fuel, but almost assuredly go a lap down here. And those cars that pitted early, Jeff and L.W. Wright, both back on the lead lap. Early on, first 20 laps of stage 1. Saw a couple cars come down the pit lane. So Squid back out. He'll get passed by Deegan and others. And as of right now, will be the only car 1 lap down. Well, we talked about that speed of Tony Kanaan, man. Oh, Travis Pastrana came down the pit lane too. I wonder if that was damage related. Because, I mean, we shouldn't be closing in quite yet on pit stops, but it wouldn't be unbelievable. Maybe we are. Because now it's Gundy to the pits in the 28 car. I don't know if, some cars just didn't fill it up, or if we had a whole bunch of cars with some damage out here. Kinda hard to say. So Kanaan will put another car lap down. 3 pit stops here in the last few laps. Oh. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this to be what flag cam was. By the way, what's grid cam? Oh. That's not very useful. This is kind of cool, though. We'll say hi to the flag man. Bit of a legend in the iRacing community, the flag man out here. So, I forget his name. People did name him. That is one old NASCAR official suit, by the way. But he'll watch the leaders come by. Kanaan, Pastrana, just barely 1 lap down, followed by the rest of everybody else. So the lead not as big as it once was for the 11 of Tony Kanaan. Pastrana was looking like he was going to get up in the wall again. Either that or he was running the Kyle Larson line. Hard to say. 32 to go in stage number 2. Pastrana, Gundy, and Squid a lap down. For all of your lead group here, I mean, I suppose we could be nearing some pit stops because it was lap 45, 46. Well, we did get the benefit of a couple caution laps mixed in there. So that could very well be our pit lap, our start of our pit cycle here in just a few. Guys, we are going to get halfway through a NASCAR Chat Series race in under 2 hours. How about that, huh? We're only an hour, actually, into the total race time. An hour and 3 minutes. I love these 400 lappers. Or these 400 milers. They're great. Especially coming off of the Indy 500 Coke 600 double that we did, where I was here all day. This one feels a lot better, right? Pastrana looking to unlap himself the hard way. Not really. I wouldn't think so. Pit cycle has begun. Brayton Laster, as it was in stage number 1 in the end of the first fuel run. He is the first one to make the move to the pits. Expect the same from everybody else here in the next couple laps or so. Pastrana! Oh my goodness. That looked real dicey with him and Kanaan, these two Toyotas, not even for position. That would be comical to see. A lap car take out Tony Kanaan in the lead again. Well, so far, not everybody, nobody made the move here coming to lap 93. Miss Airy is kind of riding pretty low on the racetrack. Looks like she's going to come down this time. And what a last couple race stretch for the 17 car. That great third place finish in Charlotte. And certainly running up front to be a factor here today. As the 17 will drop to the pit lane, as will Ken Schrader. Austin, Pat following. And so far, looks like that will be it. So Kanaan stays out in front. I have actually moved into second place, but I'm 4 seconds back of Tony Kanaan. Not dropping to the bottom here either. 48 pit stop as well with John Force. I wonder what the case was there. So Kanaan, myself, gonna come down the pit lane, so that's gonna mean Red Wings is gonna lead a lap here. Caleb, Deegan, Oraman, all pitting this time. Looks like Ash has stayed out, Evo has stayed out. Red Wings will be coming this time. Dropped it to the middle. John Force just kind of lingering here, right? He's just kind of holding on. So is anybody going to stay out this time? You're really probably going to be pushing it. And yes, we actually do have one that stays out a little while longer. Frankie Muniz, who's having a good points here, this 33. In contention for the win at the Nürburgring. Really, I mean, just down to the last couple corners. Had a chance to do it, but into the final S's was all she wrote. And it looks like the 33 is going to come this time. Dale Earnhardt Jr. stayed out longer than anybody else, and 33 okay? You run out of gas? I don't know. That was a very odd pit entry. So here comes what should be everybody else, which means this should cycle around. Believe it or not, it looks like it's going to cycle around to Travis Pastrana. What we thought was boneheaded, and maybe it still will be, he's actually in front of Tony Kanaan right now. Pastrana will pass all those cars in the pit lane and move to the lead of the race. Wait. We have one straggler. He will move to the lead of the race here in a second. I was going to say, oh my God, what the fuck did Smee do? So he'll drop down to the pit lane. Travis Pastrana will inherit the lead. Now, the difference in pit strategy is 11 laps. So he used those fresh tires and just ran really, really good. He was running with Kanan there for a good bit, so running fast times. But yep, 83 on his pit lap, and then Tony Kanan lap 94. So Pastrana, he should have enough to make it to the end of this stage, barring disaster. So a little bit of a shake-up. Not a massive one, but Travis Pastrana just with a jump on the rest of the field. Well, we made it through our second pit cycle of the day. Travis Pastrana leads as we take lap 99 from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Right as I was backing out here, we have a car in the pits. It is the 45 of TJ. And that's damage. So for all of the damaged cars, and now granted, it hasn't been a ton, but for all of the damaged cars, no yellows for cause here today. Ooh, this track has drone cam. I'm going to switch to this fully expecting it to be ass, but I hope it's not. Well, I would have expected with now 11 lap fresher tires, the rest of the field to start to try and do something when it comes to Tony Kanaan. And, oh man, disaster, by the way, for your Stage 1 winner, TJ. He was in the pits for 3 minutes. So it already burned through a faster pair, unfortunately for him. So he's going to be multiple laps down, and barring an unforeseen circumstance, 5 laps down. That is quite insurmountable. But anyway, for the 11, I mean, you would think he'd be making up more of this gap. Clean racetrack, fresher tires, and he is not. He's only really ate into the gap by about 0.3 of a second in, you know, the 12 laps since the pit stop. And it's really not all that noticeable. Very stretched out field, as we'd expect. We're kind of into the portion of the year where we're not going to see, you know, a ton. Whoops. We're not going to see a ton of drafting tracks. Now we do have Atlanta, unless we pivot off of Atlanta, because we did that after the Daytona 500, and that was a disaster. That is 2 races away. We're going to Sonoma next. But then Indianapolis, this is another track where you're really going to see the field spread out before the end of the season. The final 5 races, these 2 super speedways. Darlington, which I'm sure is going to be a disaster. Kansas, Homestead. So a good mix of tracks here down the stretches. I mean, we are in about the halfway point of the NASCAR Chat Series season here. So still a 1.7 second lead for Travis Pastrana. We have 13 laps to go in stage number 2. He's won stages before, obviously he's won races before, but really the first couple races of the season were not good. I'd say the first 3 or 4 races, the results were okay at the Nürburgring in Talladega, but in the Daytona 500 and at Atlanta, no stage points, finishes in the 20s, no good, and it hasn't been a strong points year for the 67, which, if Pastrana would have been included in the points last year, because remember, we kept 2 point standing systems, the chatters and the non-chatters. Pastrana did win the championship overall, but last year we weren't counting it. Lead down to a 1.5 seconds. There is still time for Tony Kanaan to try and wreck our day here. Pat and Kanaan have been inside the top 10 for much of the day. Which, of course, after the Coke 600, you look at those 2 cars, and anytime they're going to get close together, you're going to get a little worried. Enough space between them right now where they're fighting. That was in front of Tony Kanaan at one point until the 11 found, well, the nitrous button that Pat used at Charlotte to sling past everybody. Gonna wind up being some pretty decent stage points for some people that don't often score them. Myself included. I have had a miserable year when it does come to stage points. Really just had a bad year in general. Couldn't even win the Coca-Cola 600 to make myself feel better. No, I just have to be ass. We're sitting 3rd in a race that would be super cool to win, but I mean, let's be honest. I don't, even a win, I don't think is digging me out of the points hole that I'm currently in. Now, Third place stage points in the opening stage. That's going to help out matters. Save my best race for my home track, potentially. 1.4 seconds is the lead for Pastrana over Kanaan. Sarah going to make a possible move here for third. Brayton Laster, best car early, lingering in here as well. And what a fall off from race to race for a guy way, way back in the pack right now. LW Wright. Now, of course, we could talk about Evo, who is directly behind him. Coca-Cola 600 winner, currently running 26th. But LW Wright, before Pat found the nitrous, might have had the best car at Charlotte. Bad fast in the early portions of the race. And then just some iffy strategy in the midway portions. Really kind of took him out of it, but still put together a decent finish. Well, this feels like it's about to get good up at the front of the field. Pastrana now just 1.1 seconds in front of Kanaan. 6 laps to go in stage number 2. You would expect, having pitted on lap 83, that his tires are probably starting to fall off. Kanaan might have a pretty substantial tire advantage right now, but the 67 still appears so fast that it's kind of making up for it. Mentioned Pastrana, a 3-time Cup Series or Chat Series winner last year in the Roush Fenway number 60, has yet to win a race in the 2311 number 67 that we put him in this year, his Daytona 500 scheme. He is looking for his first stage win of the year. 4 to go in stage 2. Kanaan's getting closer, but not that much closer. He has just dropped that inside of a second. The gap back. He could very well have a run at this before it's all said and done. Regardless, going to be great stage points for Tony Kanaan. Coca-Cola 600 looking for his second in the NASCAR Chat Series, closing in even further. Two and a half laps. I think Kanaan can get there. Now, can he get by is a different question, but I certainly think at this current rate, especially once he gets with about 0.4 of a second back, could really start to pull up to Kanaan. Here we go. We'll see how good it gets. 0.6 back, Kanaan. On the charge. Last thing that Pat wants to see, but at least Pat is inside this top 10 for the stage as well. I think he's going to get there. Ooh, not a great middle of 3 and 4 there, though. Still probably got a straight line speed advantage for the time being. White flag in stage 2. Kanaan looking to deny Travis Pastrana. And man, oh man, the success of Pastrana here in Michigan. Finished second to Will Power last year when we were here. And into 3 and 4. Think he's gonna get there, and he's probably gonna make the pass very shortly into stage 3 here But Travis Pastrana will come home and get it done. An interesting strategy call for the 67 is going to wind up netting him the stage win. Stage 2 results are final. It is Pastrana, Kanan, myself, Brayton Laster, Miss Airy 5th, Ken Schrader 6th, Pat 7th, Austin in 8th, Red Wings, Stage Points in 9th, and John Force in 10th. We have 80 laps to go from Michigan in the FireKeepers Casino 400. Well, so it feels like some cars might be trying to get a jump on what I was thinking about during the break. Was that if we stay green the whole way, we were in for a really interesting type of finish. There were some cars that came down the pit lane here at the start of stage 3 that I don't think really needed to yet. I mean, we're seeing cars that have been in the back all day that have jumped up the field here. Evo currently sitting 11th. He hasn't come down the pit lane yet. Are we seeing some alternate strategies, or is everybody about to get on the same one? We have only 21 cars, gonna be less than that when this is all said and done, on the lead lap. Because of this new alternating strategy, because there were maybe 3 or 4 that I thought were on that different strategy, like Pastrana and Squid. And then now, I mean, we're going to be sitting... I'm barely going to hang on to the lead lap spot. 15 cars on the lead lap. Which you wonder if this is not good news for Tony Kanaan, that everybody has short-pitted him here. Last pitted on lap 94. His stuff probably going to be spent trying to chase down Travis Pastrana. Pastrana now sits 16th. 4th car 1 lap down. Well, certainly a bit of a shakeup. Evo entered the pit lane as well. And I mean, we're not looking at that long before Kanaan's going to have to come down anyway. And we will cycle around. It's going to be interesting to see who is the one that might benefit the most from that early pit stop. And I'll tell you who it probably is. It might just be the 17 and Miss Air. Also me, too. I could be in that mix. Evo out of the pit lane as well. Gundy from 10th has just made the move to the pit lane. We're going to be starting to see the rest of the top 10 do that because they cannot go much longer, and we know that. I'm 38 seconds back. Tell you what, I wouldn't have guessed it, but this might hand the lead over to me. Oh no, TJ in the pits again. Now, that was a quick stop, only 9 seconds in his box, so I guess maybe just a little gas and go. I don't know if these cars are counting on cautions or what we're doing here. And they think that they have a chance at making it to the end when they don't. Maybe just kind of splitting that up a little bit, while Tony Kanaan is going to be on that strategy that worried me a little bit. There's just not really much of a way that he can go much longer. He's been out on these tires with this fuel for 40 laps now. And pushing it really doesn't do you much good. I mean, he's hanging on. He's actually, starting to find some speed again, getting a toe off of me, but I mean, it's not, it can't stand. And you're not going to make it to the end of the race anyway, so I'm not quite sure I understand the reasoning why. I think the new best spot on track just went to the 17 of Miss Airy. Sitting in 10th when she knows that all of those cars, 1 through 9, have to make a pit stop here relatively soon. And Aries gonna, or at least she's trying to kind of run away. He's lost another lap with that short 9-second pit stop. 6 laps down in last place. For a car that was your clear favorite, I think, for Rookie of the Year. We have 3 rookies here in the NASCAR Chat Series, or a man who currently sits fourth. Yet again, I suppose we'll go ahead and take a look at him because he gets so little screen time. Or a man has just not had a very good year. Brayton Laster's made the move to the pits. And then Timo, already the odds were stacked against him for Sunoco Rookie of the Year. I don't know where the patches went on his car. He got some logos supposed to be on the NASCAR Chat Series logo, but I digress. Something to fix later. Yeah, you know, I don't know. It would probably take him maybe winning a race and finishing decent in points to really have a go at that. It's going to be tough to deny the 45 car of that, I do believe. So Brayton Laster's move to the pit lane means that the rest just have to be imminent. Tony Kanaan can only do this for so long. This is now, what, 44 laps he's been out, and he's going to come around and push it to 45. Which has just really been about the extent of what we've seen. I mean, that first stage, you saw 45, 46 on the pit stops. For everybody else, other than the people that pitted under caution, they rolled around and made it 48, but... And Kanaan will come this time. So we'll start to see the cycle really start to take shape. Unless the rest of the top 10, really the top 8, come down the pit lane. See what TV in our cars does. He's in the middle of a fight with the 35 and the 1. Well, you can't come down the pit lane when you got all that going on. By a sliver, I think the 89 did lead that lap as well. Good for him. Add 1 to the total there. TV in our cars. He pitted on lap 96, so he could go a couple more if he so chose to. I don't really think anybody's gotten the jump on everybody. All these cars are 94, 96. Smee came in on lap 97. The 89 does not come down. All right, or a man from 4th will pit. I think the most intriguing part of all of this is what happens to Tony Kanaan. How far back does he fall when this cycle completes? Ash trying to get back on the lead lap. Oh boy, that was close between her and the 89. 46 was all sorts of out of shape. Goodness gracious, Ash. I know the 89's not truly going to win this thing out here today, but goddamn, you just about wrecked the leader. Nemechek and D. Kuzmic have made the move to the box. That leaves TV in our cars, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Yo Gamer, who's just been back in the pack all day, and then Smee as the cars that have not pitted yet. TV in our cars will come this time. Yo Gamer will do the same. Dale Earnhardt Jr., a 2-time Michigan winner, will inherit the lead. Pit stop for Junior was lap 96, so he's pushing it a little bit farther than those others have, and he's down on the bottom of the racetrack, so he'll come down the pit lane this time, which can turn the lead briefly, if he stays out another lap, to the 00 of Smee. There goes Junior. And then there goes Smee. So Smee will lead lap 130 or 143. And I mean, you can't make it. You can't make it to the end from here, right? Smee's on the bottom. I mean, that would be... You can make it to the end with some help. With some help from some yellow flags, but you're going to need multiple. And I don't think there's anybody out there calling them for Smee out here. The 00 to the pits to finally complete this pit cycle. And that'll turn us over to actual battle for the lead between me and Miss Airy. We had stayed close after the pit stops. And now the fight will be on. But again, as far as we know, nobody's making it to the end of this thing. Travis Pastrana, 1.4 seconds back. Tony Kanaan took a big hit from staying out that long. 4.3 seconds off the lead of the FireKeepers Casino. 400. Well, this time by will come to 50 laps to go from Michigan. Travis Pastrana has passed Miss Airy and is now looking to take the lead away from me. And this 67 has been really, really good, really fast since the strategy call in stage 2. Been up front, been really good. Tony Kanaan has actually lost ground since this pit cycle has completed. He was 4.3 seconds back. When I had just looked at it previously, he was 4.8. This battle for the lead, good for Miss Airy, though. Chance to have a three-way battle going on here for the 17 that has just been up front, man. Last 2 races, you can't get this car outside the top 10. Certainly close enough to possibly be getting a toe off of Travis Pastrana, and I believe she is. Certainly have a fight brewing. Miss Airy to the outside of Pastrana for second place at the line. Scoring says she had it. Wasn't sure, but depth perception could be a little bit weird there. Airy to the high side. It's not been a great place to pass up there all day, and you see it there again. Pastrana with a good run on the bottom out of turn 2. But with the squabbling for second place, it's not really allowing me to pull away. Only 0.4 of a second in front of Pastrana. We know everybody's got pit stops to make again. And for those that are up front here right now, I mean, there's not, by no means is there a question. However many cautions could even possibly happen, there's just no way. Lap 127 to 128. These top 3 came down the pits, so way too far to even consider it. Now, given that short pitting has been the way to go today, as Pastrana will take the lead away again. Does anybody do that for their last run? And if it's somebody in the back of the pack, specifically somebody that would possibly have a reason to use a debris yellow, if you're one of the first ones to make that move, as soon as you get down the pit lane, do you call it? Just throwing it out there. But do those cars in the back even really have speed? Even if you put them in the front of the field, I mean, the ones in the back have been in the back much of the day. And even in the case of, say, Evo and Ash, you know, after the first debris yellow, our only yellow flag of the day, got up to 15th, 16th place and just didn't hold it. So it could put you up here, but will it stick? So I'll take the lead back here on lap 156. Next time out for the NASCAR Chat Series is a little bit later this month. It'll be presumably June 27th. And that'll be our second ever NASCAR Chat Series road course race as we head to Sonoma, which I'm pretty hyped about. I hope it turns out to be a good race. Obviously, the Nürburgring was a decision of all time, and we paid for it a little bit by that 45-minute, whatever it was, yellow flag. Won't have that problem necessarily at Sonoma, so I am hoping that it's good. And if it is, then it can stay on the schedule. I don't know why I didn't do Watkins Glen. I don't know if maybe there were tracks that I wanted to do around this time of year. I think it was right because it was right before the All-Star race in the Coke 600, and I didn't want to do that since they moved Watkins Glen up this year. Because if it was later in the year, I certainly think that we probably would have gone to the Glen. Lead starting to stretch out just a little bit for the Hottenell 13. Car has never won a race. The 13 has, obviously. That was a Coke 600 winner last year, but not with Hottenell on board. So to get the Michigan company to victory lane in Michigan, well, that would be pretty cool. Something tells me, though, the chat is not going to let that happen, which is fair. The rigged allegations will sway chat. To rigging it themselves to the best of their ability. Now, it hasn't been a super great day. Now, granted, we've only had the 2 starts, but we haven't seen anybody immediately make a run from second place or anywhere to make the lead, or to take the lead away. Pretty much right after we dropped the green flag, the 2 times that we have today, it's chaos from second on back for a little bit, and the leader just gets to peace out for a while, so you have to find a different way to screw me, I guess. Just gonna ride it out. Because I still think we could, you know, be in a position where things could get a little scary. By the way, we know for sure that if you fill it up during your pit stop, you can make it to the end from this point forward. So there's that to consider too. Well, we've been riding with the leaders here for a good bit. Is there anything else going on out here on track right now? Ken Schrader. Well, I thought the timing was a little bit closer. Ken Schrader and Squid. I'm sorry. She just won't go away. Haley Deegan is 11th. Come on, man. Oh, not a good thing for everybody behind her in points to see that this car has rebounded from the end of line penalty during our only yellow flag of the day. Brayton Laster will make the pass, take 11th back, but even still, 12th place is nuts. Tell you what, new number, same, or at least new number font, same performance for this car. It will not go away. Front of the field, we had a fight for the lead brewing. Miss Harry was looking to the inside, didn't get a great run out of turn 2, it looks like. And just, if I'm not going to win the race, at least let it be the 17, right? We all like Harry. She can win one. That'd be cool. And this only the, well, conveniently, 17th ever NASCAR Chat Series race. There's a lot of guys and girls out there looking for their first ever win. This area, one of those. Pastrana, good run out of 2, going to take second place back. 47 laps to go from Michigan. Well, we're not quite going to finish this race in under 2 hours, but this is still a great pace. Even with the later start, man. I'm happy that it's not going to be like 3.5, right? You can burn through all 3 of those remaining debris yellows, and that wouldn't be the case. But no yellows because of an accident today. Doesn't mean there haven't been any. We've seen some cars come down the pit lane to repair damage. I would assume the majority of the field still has their fast repair at their disposal should we have trouble. But I'm thinking that might not be the case. I mean, maybe everybody's just going to behave themselves. before we, Lord knows, all go off track at Sonoma and pile up in the hairpin or some shit. I'd certainly say the pit window is about to open. Wow, I get way loose out of 4. What the fuck? Travis Pastrana back to the front. But we've seen the advantage of short pitting all day. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen anybody truly try it. Especially once you knew you could make it to the end of this race. I mean, you know you're going to be running on just about nothing probably towards the end as Pastrana's piecing out. Wonder if I've used up my stuff at the front here. Didn't really have to fight off Pastrana too much, or at least do a whole lot of anything to fight him off. Taking the lead back. Just interested to see who the first one down the pit lane might be. Somebody just dropped a handful of spots. Pat's going to get passed by Tony Kanaan. I was worried that there was damage on the 3. I don't see any. Doesn't mean there isn't any. But I'm thinking there isn't any. Hailie Deegan has now joined the top 10. Chaos from that 38. And I can promise you still that 38 has the same driver attributes that the rest of the real drivers do, which is less than the chat cars in this 38. Might just be undeniable. Absolute rocket ship that car has been all year. Certainly your favorite for the championship right now. Maybe we have to implement a chase to deny Deegan a NASCAR Chat Series championship. Well, I went back here because Evo and Ash were close together. Evo is now back here fighting with Lucas. Not the race that the 24 would have wanted. At the right break, it's still anybody's race. So we're now over 40 laps since the last pit stop. So now it seems like everybody out here is just thinking pit as late as possible to have fresher tires for the end of the race. Even though that hasn't been the best way to make up ground all day long. Tell you who's got a late run car. That is the 11 of Tony Kanaan, who, after the questionable pit strategy of staying out a good 12 laps longer than most everybody else, he's certainly got the tire advantage right now. But even for him, we're going to be closing in on his pit window. Speaking of the pit window, our first takers, Hailie Deegan and Austin, going to pit together. So it starts, and that's disastrous because, again, it's been the short pit all day that has been the way to go, and the fact that Deegan is the one to do it is terrifying. Travis Pastrana gonna come down this time. Miss Airy as well. So I would think these pit stops are gonna be pretty rapid fire. Outside of maybe Tony Kanaan, which again could probably drop Kanaan back a good ways. I don't know what the fuck I'm still doing out here, in all honesty. It appears these cars are also done signaling to anybody else that they're coming down. You know, we saw in every other pit cycle, they drop kind of middle of the racetrack down the backstretch and then drop to the pit lane. This time they want to keep it a surprise. Could be doing better. Could be doing better. Let's talk about the 28. Let's go back there. Because how did this car wind up a lap down? It did on lap 137 in that Tony Kanaan window. I don't really know what happened. I don't know if this car double pitted or if it's just been off the pace all day or what it is. Brayton Laster, fresher tires, gonna look to get around. So there is the car that terrifies us. Haley fucking Deegan. Might be in the best case scenario for trying to win this race. It would be her third win of the year. Anytime we've seen a car that's just come down the pit lane past the leader, that is usually who winds up cycling around for the lead. Hey, look at Evo top 10. Well, until he pitted. Most anybody that we would worry about some cheeky debris yellows from has already come down the pit lane. Self 32 seconds off the lead. As Tony Kanaan will continue to stay out with 24 laps to go from Michigan International Speedway. Very late debris yellow cutoff for this race. 5 laps to go. On Force looking racy in behind Tony Kanaan. I believe Force has already come down the pit lane too. We'll explain why he's 1 lap down, so yes, he has. So he'll get around Deegan. How about a Sean Force run for the win, huh? How fun would that be? Really interesting to see how this cycles. And I think Kanaan's doing about the smartest thing he could do right now, and just keeping those cars behind, costing them time, but at the same time, costing himself too. Just in that same sort of window where the top 9 still need to make their pit stops. You go back down to 31st. Top 10 in points, Lucas as well. Not a factor here today. What are we on for a pit lap for Kanaan? He's got to be closing in, right? He's really... I think all these top 9 right now really trying to push it, and I don't know why. It hasn't been the move all day. Maybe if we were still fresh off the Michigan repave and tire wear wasn't as big of a factor as it is now, but I mean, shit, that was 15 years ago. This is certainly going to be a surface. It's going to grind up your tires a little bit. Force looking to get around Kanaan. And the disastrous part is that Deegan has gotten around. Not still fighting, though. Still tough to figure out how this is going to cycle around. I still think it's going to be me and Pastrana, but where is Pastrana? 2.8 seconds back. Oh boy. Well, we'll just hold on to Tony Kanaan here, because he'd have to go almost 60 laps to make it, and it's not possible. Not all under green, it's not. Well, the first couple moves from these top 9 cars, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Yo Gamer, and Oraman, have dropped down to the pit lane with 19 laps to go. There is not a lot of time to make up any sort of ground, but important to note that those cars have really kind of been out of it all day, as here comes Kanan from the lead. Will that turn the lead over to Brayton Laster? Yes, it will. What's Laster's scenario? Last pitted on lap 136, so same window. In fact, a lap earlier than Kanan did. Fastest car in the early parts of this race. And he'll be coming down the pit lane this time. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out of the pit lane. Laster certainly looking like he's coming. Last time we cycled around, TBNR Cars was on a different strategy. Stayed out a couple extra laps. Looks like he's going to do the same here with 18 to go. Miss Ari has made the pass on Travis Pastrana, but there's a 2-second gap between myself and Miss Ari. Brayton Laster will pit. So that leaves 4. What the fuck was that? Why did the camera just shake like that? Nobody hit anything, at least as far as I know. We don't have a yellow flag. What was that about? Cars is gonna stay out. I mean, we know. None of these can make it to the end. The only one that could even think about pushing it, and I don't even know if it's worth it, would be Smee. I mean, if he just sat here and saved fuel all damn day, like the entire run long, then maybe, but you're going to be running so slow out there that it's just not worth it. The TBNR Cars, who last pitted on lap 138, is in. That leaves Smee, Joe Nemechek, and D. Kuzmin. 2 of those cars pitted on lap 141. And they are all in, with the exception of Smee, with 15 laps to go. Well, you knew it wasn't possible. So that is going to turn the lead over to little old me. The gap around 2 seconds between myself and Travis Pastrana. Miss Ari has fallen off the pace a little bit because guess who's joined the fight? Tony fucking Kanan. Whether it be Kanan or Deegan, we just can't get rid of them. They won't go away. Oh, this is gonna be wild. Somebody's gonna have a run, right? You would think. Now, what's the deal with Frankie Muniz? Where did he come from? Last pitted on lap 173. Can make it to the end, but how the fuck did he get there? I don't think Muniz had really been in the top 10 all day. And this battling between Pastrana and Kanan Gonna be all I need to see, except the 11 of Kanaan has made it around Travis Pastrana, which is going to terrify me. 1 second back. It's Tony Kanaan. Oh, God. This is the last thing. The last thing we wanted to see. Hey, maybe Pat gets his revenge. Currently running top 5. Maybe he's going to find that nitrous he had at Charlotte. And get back up and ruin Tony Kanaan's day. Not looking very likely right now. And what's looking even less likely is me holding on to this lead. Because in the time that we were back looking at Pat's car, Tony Kanaan cut my lead in half. I'll tell you this. Not looking very pretty for yours truly. Pastrana charging hard. We have 11 to go from Michigan. Pastrana a little loose in turn 2. Kind of forced Kanaan up, and maybe they'll start the battle again. I'll be able to pull away. Just a small window left for those debris yellows if we did want to give me a little bit of trouble here. Once the leader, whoever that is at the time, takes 5 to go, that is all she wrote. And now, with the pit stops being a little bit ago for these lead cars, if the yellow flag comes out, do any of the, does anybody come down to pit lane? That would be the question. I would think we might see some now. Would they be able to do anything with it? I don't know. But I think it would be a possibility. Kind of between... 15 to... 10 to 15 laps on tires right now. Tony Kanaan is, unfortunately, here. And he's looking for a move into turn 2. Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Throw a wrench into this race. It needs it. Eight to go. As here comes Kanaan. Pass for the lead with 8 laps to go, and I don't know what I got. If my car's gonna have what it takes to hold him off. Loose on the high side, looks like Pastrana's probably gonna get by. And there it is. But we are gonna have just 3 laps to go in the FireKeepers Casino 400 at Michigan. And this is just, it's all coming up, Tony Kanaan, isn't it? And maybe this is punishment, perhaps, for a penalty that, did he deserve? Yeah, maybe. But for waiting on that penalty. Because he might have won the race had we penalized him at the time of the incident. Still. Because he rebounded for a really good finish. And we will have just 3 trips around MIS left to go. Me, myself, it's not looking very pretty. It really isn't looking pretty for anybody but Tony Kanaan. He's got a 9-lap advantage on tires on everybody, all the way back to 13th and Brayton Laster. Those 2 cars pitted around the same time. Just a little shootout to decide it in Michigan. Kanaan and myself lead us to green into the restart zone. Kanaan doesn't really get going. Oh, for the first time today. Now, passing on the high side has not been the way to do it. Kanaan should be able to get a decent run. Maybe not. Kanaan not clear. Will Ash hand me the win. Miss Harry through to second. We had a great finish off a late restart here at Michigan last year. Are we shaping up for another? Miss Harry in tight as we'll take the 2 to go. Harry closing in. Looks like we might have a two-way battle for the lead as Kanaan just did not get a great restart. Harry a little loose in 1 and 2. And now down the back, but the 17 is still close enough to get a run. Does she take it now? No. Yes, a little dive into turn 3. Miss Harry to the inside. Will she take the lead? For the moment, yes, but taking the white flag at Michigan is me by a nose. Pat joining the party, side by side back in 3rd and 4th for Kanaan. Or with Kanaan. Harry looks clear. The 17 to the lead. I'll drop it back to the inside. Pat closing in 2. To turns 3 and 4. Harry running high. And it looks like it will be Lil old me winning at my home track of Michigan. Good finish. Harry perhaps made that move just a little bit too soon. Try to get her first NASCAR Chat Series win instead. I'll pick up my second and the first since the Coca-Cola 600 a year ago. Tony Kanaan denied again. 3rd. Pat in 4th. Haley Deegan. Still going to be a good points day for her. Going to finish 5th. John Force with a solid finish in 6th. Squid, who had the problem earlier in the race. What a rebound for him in 7th. Travis Pastrana dropped back off the restart 8th. Sterling Marlin with a top 10 in 9th. And Austin will finish 10th. So yeah, this heading into turn 3, Ari had already cleared me, but got a decent run out of turn 2. Unlike Ari, it looked like I was going to dive it to the inside the whole time. The inside was the way to pass throughout this entire race. Passing on the high side just really didn't work for really anyone. So there was that, but then, you know, you get side by side here, and then Kanaan and Pat are just, it's so close, and it's like, oh God. But then Pat moves up a little bit, forces Kanaan up the racetrack. Ari looks like she's sliding up there, and then it's just me out in front as we came to the checker here at Michigan International Speedway. Hot and now. It's Chevrolet, no less. In the home state of Michigan, getting it done here. That was a lot of fun. And you know what? Let's go see our good friend. What was his name? What was his name? Oh shit! What was his name? Oh God, Barney! Barney the flagman. He's not really doing much of anything here in this replay, so I don't know what's up with that. But Barney's here. My second ever NASCAR Chat Series win.